never treat two films the same way. Yes, a formula emerges that can make the process easier, but I don't feel like filmmaking is about efficiency. I've met some people that are like, oh, here's how I'm doing films now, but eventually I want to delegate to the point where I barely have to touch it, and they're doing all the work, and I'm making a good cut off of it. And it's like, well, hopefully that's not what's driving you to make these films. So audio, like the sound design, most people don't give enough credit to soundtrack and scoring and sound design, because the ears and what you hear forms in utero before the eyes. And there's something more primal about what you hear, and it's also more subconscious. Like oftentimes we watch a film, we remember things that we see and maybe concepts that we hear that tickles our intellect, but the sound design, we just pass it off. It's just part of the movement. But that's like the emotion. That's the emotional roller coaster that's like telling the subconscious, this is how you're supposed to feel about what you just heard. Take that moment in Interstellar, if you saw that movie with Matthew McConaughey, where he goes into outer space and he's traveling through this black hole. There's this really touching moment where he traveled, his daughter got older than him because he's traveling faster than the speed of light, and he's watching this video and he's crying. It's super touching moment. And my example is like, what if the YMCA, like young men, like what if that was going on at the same time? You couldn't get the audience to cry, right? The whole point being was I realized I have to do something unique with this part of the film. So it was all about sound design. And then there was this one part of the film. It was a 1 minute and 44 second part of the film that I didn't even think was going to be the climax. But I just started messing with it. Aubrey Marcus was just like speaking for God. He was delirious. And to me, as I was listening to the audio, I was like, he's delirious. This has to be in the film. But I didn't realize, like, I started like, what am I going to, if I put something over this, it's like, I'm speaking for God. Like, what would you, as God is speaking, what would you see? And I was like, if I can't, it's like God is everything philosophically. So I have to show you everything. How am I going to do that? So I literally, every single frame, there was a new image, and it was moving super quick, 24 frames a second, new image. But there was an evolution, like all the eyes stayed in the same spot, and it was people and animals and, historical photos. And then like there was something was moving super fast, but there was something moving super slow about it. But I sat there for 3 months placing images frame by frame by frame and just like tweaking them and like making sure that they fit exactly right for this 1 minute and 44 second spot in this film. And I was doubting myself. I was like, this looks cool, but I hope it looks so cool that Aubrey Marcus is like, yo, this is dope. Because if he says anything less than that, I'm going to quit filmmaking, because I just spent 3 months of my life on this. We screened the film in Austin, and Aubrey and I were sitting next to each other, and his whole crew, we filled up the theater and his whole crew was watching it. The moment happened so quick that people saw it and they were just dead silent for it, but nobody made a sound. And I was sitting there like, fuck, like this didn't happen. Like really, like it was just meh, right? It was just meh to everybody. And then Aubrey afterwards, he was like, dude, everybody who told me, they were like, that was such an incredible part of the film. He was like, this thing that you took a 3-month chance on was the absolute best part of the entire film. To me, you have to take chances on things that aren't rational, right? You have to, like, if you have this impulse and this spark, you may have all these parts of your mind that's like, dude, that's stupid, or dude, nobody's done it. There's a reason why it's not done. There's a reason why nobody does it that way. But if you feel it, and if you feel like, no, but I have to try, I have to experiment with it, I say go for it. You have to take chances on yourself. And how many times you hear that even in business? It's not a formula. You have to believe in yourself. You have to take chances. You have to do things nobody else in your position would. And sometimes you're going to fail. But sometimes it is that defining decision of believing in yourself, kind of like you were alluding to earlier. It's that defining moment of believing in yourself that really shows other people like, shit, how did you think to even do that? And some other people, you would imagine they would think about it, but they don't put the time in to actually realize it. Challenge yourself in directions, if it's film, doing things you never thought you would have done, and taking chances on impulses or ideas, inspirations that come to you that, I mean, if you're not battling inside, man, is this crazy or is this brilliant? If you're not battling with that at any point, then you're probably not scratching the surface of your brilliance. You're probably limiting who you are because of stories that you were told. You're probably blocking yourself from the path that deep down inside you know you want to take.